Deebo, thank you so much for joining me here on the podcast. I greatly appreciate you letting me steal some of your time.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, of course. And now you're finishing up your career at South Carolina, and you're the first player in school history to return a touchdown, recover a touchdown, throw a touchdown, and catch a touchdown pass. When you think about that, knowing your name is in that type of record book, I mean, have you had the time to understand the magnitude of that, and how does that make you feel?
Not really. I mean, Coach Muschamp did a good job of putting me in position to make plays in many ways to help the team. I just go out there and do what he asked me to do, and it's just the love I have for the football game.
And now, when did that first love of football begin?
Actually, when I was little, I used to play Little League football, and my dad was actually the coach. And so, every time I was out there at practice and every time I had the ball, he was like, every time you have the ball, make sure you're trying to get in the end zone. So I just fell in love with football then. So growing up, many people didn't know that I was a football player until I got to the 11th, 12th grade, and they started seeing me in the newspaper. I was really good at basketball.
Oh, so basketball was your first love?
It was.
It was? So what happened? How'd you transition to football then?
Actually, when I got a new coach in high school, his name Mark Tajh, he came to Chapman when I was going to 11th grade, and he put me in positions to make plays, and it just started happening. Everything just started flowing. So, I mean, my brother was the guy I looked up to, and was the guy that was always there for me for sports-wise. He was pretty good in basketball and football as well.
And how much older was he?
My brother's 26. I'm 22, so he's 4 years older.
4 years. Now, was it competitive with you guys?
I remember, this is a funny story. So my cousin was actually the fullback when I played Little League football, and so he was kind of bigger, so the pads kind of fitted my brother, and I had my own set of pads. And we used to go in the backyard, and he used to rough me up. he was the guy that just
That's brotherly love.
Yeah. Used to go in the backyard and just hit each other all the time.
Well, that's how you got your toughness then.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you were able to obviously be able to play football at a high level at University of South Carolina. So when did you first fall in love with the garnet and black?
I mean, I always been a South Carolina guy. It's where I grew up. I always wanted to go to school at South Carolina. And but a funny story, my stepmom actually was a Clemson fan because her nephew actually played offensive lineman for him. He went to play for San Francisco. And so when I committed to South Carolina, all that changed.
The orange was shifted out of the house. Right?
All of it was gone.
Now, as a Clemson grad now over here, I can tell you that I'm very glad that you're moving on. I promise you. And I know there's a lot of other Clemson fans that are glad that you're moving on. So when did it, though, become, I guess, a dream or reality or realistic dream that you could actually play college football and play for University of South Carolina?
So if you watch today's Isn't Promise, my story that I shared with everybody, when I was growing up, I always told my mom and dad I wanted to play football on TV. So actually when I was little, my uncle and my dad and my stepmom, they was like, you're going to be pretty good, you're going to be something special. And we still talk about it to this day, and it just came true.
Yeah, and so who were some of the players that you looked up to that you wanted to be like?
When I was little, everybody was a Reggie Bush guy. If you watch the highlight, he was probably one of the best college football players I've seen. But now I look up to Julio Jones and guys like that. He's my favorite receiver.
And from that standpoint, then, did you have a favorite professional team?
I never had a professional team. I just watch everybody play.
Yeah. Now, what about your favorite basketball player, though?
Oh, LeBron James, hands down.
LeBron James? Come on. What about Michael Jordan?
I mean, I'm a Jordan guy. I got wear all his shoes, but I'm a LeBron fan, man.
So you think LeBron is better than Michael Jordan?
I wouldn't say he there yet. He just got to win a couple more championships. Then we'll put him in that case.
I'm a Michael Jordan guy, and I'm a basketball guy, too. So you and I have that in common. Now, did you ever think about trying to play basketball, though, in college?
So, actually, there was a couple of small schools that was reaching out to me, asking me to play basketball, and the offers that I was getting for basketball and the offers I was getting for football, the football offers was way bigger, so I started focusing more on football and kind of took that serious. So when I was, so a funny story again, I was in the ninth and 10th grade, so Chapman was making the playoffs, and I just quit football and go play basketball because the basketball season was starting.
Wait a second. So you're playing football, but you said, wait a second.
Yeah, when basketball season came around, I was like, Coach, I'm a basketball guy. I'm going to play ball in the gym, get ready for the season.
Now, what the coaching staff say to that?
I mean, they can't really say nothing.
They need you out there on the football field.
Yeah, so my senior year at Chapman High School, we lost the Upper State by a field goal to Daniel, and we had a game. We played Friday, and we played Dorman High School that Monday. So really all the basketball players was on the football team. So we didn't have a break, so we jumped from after Friday night. We went in the gym Saturday, Sunday, get a little couple shots up, and we ended up playing Dorman that Monday, which was so crazy.
That fast.
And
did you guys win?
No, we actually lost. We ended up losing in the third-round playoffs that year in basketball.
Okay. Well, you had a good team, though. They needed you out on the football field.
Yes, sir.
And so did South Carolina. They wanted you. And what was that like, though, when Steve Spurrier is recruiting you?
Coach Spurrier actually didn't recruit me. It was Coach Sean Elliott that coached at Georgia Southern now or whatever. But, yeah, he reached out to me. Actually, they invited me to the Coastal Carolina game, and Coach was like, we want to offer you a scholarship. Just let us know when you commit. And I committed right there on the spot, right in the locker room, right after the game.
Okay. And what was that like when you hear that you have an offer, and was it just euphoric?
I mean, it was amazing. I always dreamed to play there, and like I kept it from my mom for like 2 days. She was like, what was you in there for so long? I was like, we was just in there talking. She was like, did they offer you a scholarship?
Wait a second. You have this important news that you've been offered a Division I scholarship at a school that you love, University of South Carolina, and you don't even tell your mom?
And I told her like 3 days later. She was like, what was y'all in there talking about? I was like, Mom, it wasn't nothing serious. And I was like, I came to her one day after school. I was like, Mom, they offered me a scholarship, and I committed. So that was what we was in there talking about.
Did you tell anybody else?
I told my dad. He wasn't going to say nothing.
Oh, so they kept it quiet, right?
Yes, sir.
So what was that like when you make that transition down to Columbia, and now you're a member of the team down there?
I mean, it was an amazing feeling. I came in with a couple guys I already knew, like Casey Crosby and Shaq Davison and Malik Young. We all played in the Shrine Bowl together, and Donnell Stanley. So we already like had that chemistry then. So when I got there with those guys, we was just around each other and trying to get each other better while we was there.
Was there a big difference in terms of the transition from high school playing to now playing Division I college? I mean, SEC football, right?
Yeah, it was a really big difference. We got there, we was like, boy, these guys big, fast. So actually, my freshman year there, we all redshirted that year, and just to get ready for the next year that was coming.
Yeah, and how valuable was that for you to be able to redshirt?
That was pretty. It got me bigger, faster, stronger, and it gave me a mental state to go out there, and I can go out there and compete with anybody.
So what did that look like, though, your redshirt year? I mean, were you in the weight room all the time? Were you able to practice?
Yeah, we practiced with the team. We just had more workouts than the guys that was playing. So we had redshirt workouts every Friday morning. Like we work out Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we'd be out there with the team on Saturday watching the game.
And who were some of the guys that impressed you quickly when you got to South Carolina?
Farrell Cooper was one of the impressive guys, and while I was there, I was looking up to him and learning stuff from him. We always stayed in touch.
Yeah, did they embrace you as a freshman, like take you under their wings and help you out?
Yeah, Farrell Cooper was the guy that I was always with, and I was the guy that I looked up to. We went and watched film together, studied the game together. It was just something that clicked in.
How difficult was it trying to learn all the plays? I mean, it's a whole new offense and all of that. Was that a challenge?
I would say it wasn't too much of a challenge. It was just learning, like, you're not only going to be playing one side of the field, so you got to know, instead of one position, you got to know all the positions. So that was probably the hardest part.
And where were they having you on both sides, defense and offense?
Oh, no.
They just wanted you
strictly offense.
Just offense.
Yes, sir.
So what about the decision then that you're going to be the guy to return kickoffs?
That happened actually after my redshirt freshman year, my sophomore year. Coach seen what I was capable of with the ball in my hands. He was like, we want to see how you would be as a returner, and it took off since then.
How difficult is that, though, to return a kickoff? Because as a fan, as I'm watching, I mean, you've got to concentrate, one, on the ball, to make sure that you catch it. That's obviously the first thing. But then to be able to have the vision to see the lanes that are opening up, and you got to be disciplined to make sure you're following those lanes, those blockers. How difficult is that?
So like I said, when I was young, I really wasn't always a receiver. I really didn't start playing receiver until I was like in the 10th grade. So I was also a running back and a quarterback. So I always had that vision to, like, if you see a hole, hit it. So I would say kick return is probably way easier than a punt because you have more time, and once you get the ball, you're able to see what's going to happen. And when you see something happen, you just got to hit it fast as you can.
And can you hear the crowd when you're sitting there waiting for either the punt or the kickoff, especially if it's really loud? Or are you able to tune it out and just focus on the ball?
I mean, you always gotta X the crowd out when you're out there on the field, so you can just focus on the game and focus on what you need to do.
And what was the loudest time you remember?
I would say NC State last year, the game opened and the kick return. So this year, every time they see I have a chance to get the ball, you just hear it, like, they just go crazy.
Yeah, so can you hear the crowd, like, kind of gearing up, like gets
the
louder as you start breaking it?
So once the ball is in the air and they see I'm able to turn it, just get real loud. And I'm just like, oh, I got to go make this play. I got to make this play. And so, like, as it comes and I get the ball, it just get crazy.
And how difficult was it then having to deal with injuries where you can't be out on the field, playing for the school that you love?
So my first 3 years there, I dealt with pulling hamstrings and a hamstring injury here, hamstring injury there. So last year, dealing with a broken bone, which I never had in my life, it was kind of frustrating, and it took a toll on me. Like, I talked to my mom, my dad about it. I was like, dang, is this really what I want to do? Like, I've been facing adversity since I've been here, and they kept me up. Coach Muschamp and Coach B-Mac did a great job of lifting me up. It's like, everything gonna be all right. You're gonna come back better, stronger. And I just listened to their word, and you see what happened.
Yeah. Did you have some times though where I shouldn't say depressed, but you were sad, you felt disconnected because you weren't with the team?
Yeah, I would say, like, Saturdays when I'm at home, like, if you got a broken leg, you really can't walk, can't move around like you want to. But watching the guys on TV and not being able, like, you used to being there with the guys to motivate and cheer them on. But if you're doing it from the house, it's just something different.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, you can't contribute. There's nothing that you can do when you're actually not out on the field. Then being able to, have this decision where you come back for your senior year, where, even if you missed most of that junior season because of the broken fibula that you were talking about, you could have easily made the decision to pursue your NFL dream. Why come back for your senior season?
The guys that I came in with, the 2014 class, we always said we want to win a championship, and we promised each other that we wasn't going to leave without one. So, I mean, we fell short of that this year. So I had an opportunity to play in the bowl game or not play in the bowl game, and I think I made the right decision.
Yeah. So now, and that's a completely separate decision. So you came back for your senior year, which, obviously you made South Carolina immediately better when you made that decision. So now, finishing out your career, you have, as you mentioned, made this decision to not play in the bowl game. And a lot of people will say that's controversial. That really hasn't happened, but seems to be a trend. So for you, why did you make that decision not to play in the bowl game?
I think I made the decision because, like, the past 3 or 4 years I've been dealing with injury, and this is my first career, like my first year of being injury free, and I just took advantage of that. And I talked to my mom, my dad about it, and I actually talked to Muschamp about it before I made the decision, and he also said, I think you're making the right decision.
Okay, and how difficult was that?
I would say it's pretty difficult. I mean, just not being with the guys that you work hard with. You every morning in the summer, every day that you around the guys, and I mean, it ain't hit yet, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna hit.
That's right. Yeah, because what do those guys mean to you?
I mean,
those brothers.
I mean, it means a lot, especially in the receiver room. Like we've been through it all. We've been through the ups. We've been through the downs. I mean, people doubted us, and we showed them what we was capable of. But I mean, it's not just only there, like the quarterbacks, the running backs. Really, it was just a big brotherhood.
Yeah, of course. And so you mentioned that it might not have hit you yet, and you have mentioned that you're going to actually be at the bowl game, but you're obviously just not going to play. So are you prepared to be there on the sidelines and not be in the game? Are you ready for that?
I think so. Like I said before, I've been through many injuries. I had to stay on the sideline and be able to cheer the guys on. But yeah, I think I'll be ready ready to do that.
Okay. Well, but you did play against Akron, which obviously there was the last home game, and it was from a canceled game, your last game in Williams-Brice Stadium. What were the emotions like during that game?
I mean, I was thinking about that all week. I was like, man, this is my last game in Williams-Brice. It's crazy. Like if you go and you see the video, like I was getting really emotional just seeing the fans and just knowing like you'll never get this back again.
Yeah. Are you an emotional guy?
When it comes to football, I really am.
Yeah. Because what does football mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, I love the game. I'm passionate for the game. Football has taught me teamwork, time management, and it also gave me a chance to get my degree in school. So, I mean, football teaches you a lot.
And through your, I guess, 5 years at University of South Carolina, because you had that redshirt season there, what type of impact has just the school itself, the University of South Carolina, how has it impacted your life and helped you grow up as a man?
I mean, you know, you're still a kid once you get on campus, 17, 18 years old. So the more you walk around and you see how the older kids, like, carry themselves, I mean, he's like, I got to mature fast. I mean, South Carolina has taught me a lot. I mean, I've grown a lot since I've been there.
Do you feel that you've matured?
Yeah, I feel like I've matured a lot since I've been there. And, I mean, it's just crazy, man.
Yeah, well, and I know there is always this journey that each person goes through, especially in those years where you do have some freedom and, as you mentioned, kind of learning the time management. So what were some of the challenges that you had during your time at South Carolina, other than dealing with the injuries, obviously?
Really, like I said, the time management part, you waking up. I never in my life woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning for a workout until I got to school. So
how difficult was that?
That was probably the hardest part, going from workouts to class to study hall. Like freshmen and sophomores, like my freshman and sophomore year, we really didn't get home till about 9 o'clock. So you up from 5 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. I mean, you just going all day. And my freshman and sophomore year, we used to practice in the afternoon. So when you get out of practice, you're going straight to study hall. Then you get to study hall, you got to eat dinner. Then you go home and get in bed and just do it all over again.
So it's a vicious cycle. It's just
Yes,
nonstop, right? Now, one of the things that I think is fascinating, too, is that you growing up in a small town, looking up to certain players, as you had mentioned, but now where you are, you're that guy. You're the person that these young athletes are looking up to. And has that even registered in your head that you've got all of these young guys that want to be like Deebo Samuel?
Yeah, it really registered with me these past 2 years. Kids reach out to me on all the social media sites and be like, "You the guy I look up to," and all kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, and I just think that's amazing just because of what you've been able to accomplish. And even through a shortened career because of the injuries, I mean, you've had such a huge impact as far as what all you've done, you know, for the University of South Carolina. And so when you now are in this kind of transition, getting ready to officially graduate, but preparing for the NFL, so what is that going to look like in terms of the NFL preparation that you're getting ready to start?
So actually, after I graduate, I promised coach and I promised the team that I was going to be at the game, so I'm going to be at the game cheering the guys on. But I think January 2nd hit, I'll be training from here until it's time to get drafted.
That's right. Now, do you have a specific place you're going to train?
I'll be in Arizona. I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona, training the Exos.
Okay, and how long is that going to last? Up until
the
draft?
Yes, sir.
All right, and combine invites.
Well,
I presume that you'll get one, but you haven't officially
Not yet.
received one as of yet. Well, and then how fast do you think you're gonna? What's your target? 40.
Oh, I'm gonna hit a low 4.4 easy.
Oh, 4.4. Okay. Now, what about your vertical? Because you're a basketball guy. Are you dunking these days?
Oh, I mean, I had my first dunk actually going to the 9th grade in the AAU tournament.
So you remember that game?
Yes, sir. It was my first dunk ever. We was in Lexington.
And so walk me through that, though, because I've never been able to dunk, so I'm jealous. And I'm taller than you.
So actually, I was going to the ninth grade. Yeah, we was in the AU tournament in Lexington, and my teammate get a steal, and I see a guy running, and I was just really about to lay the ball up. And I think when somebody jump with you, you just jump higher, and it just so happened to be a and-one dunk, and I was like, wow, it was crazy.
Did the crowd
Everybody
go
was
crazy?
everybody was like, did you really just dunk?
Because you'd never even dunked in practice or
Never.
anything? I
I always tried though, but it just never go in.
just the adrenaline got to you that game.
Yes,
right?
sir.
And then after that, now, I mean, are you doing 360s? You doing backwards?
Do a little windmill, a little tomahawk. Can't jump and do 360s yet.
That's right. Well, you need to focus on just making sure you're, preparing for the NFL draft. Now, obviously, all the guys, and I imagine you're the same, we're going to say, hey, I just want to go wherever. It doesn't matter. But deep down, is there any teams that would be a great place for Deebo Samuel for you?
I actually haven't thought about that, actually. Like I said, growing up, I never had a favorite football team, and I still don't to this day. I just watch everybody play.
But you've always had an NFL dream. You're going to be playing, you'd mentioned on TV. And now, I mean, you're this close to making that dream reality in terms of at least being drafted. But are you prepared now for the next step after that in terms of it's going to be a whole nother level for the NFL as well?
Yeah, I would assume that I'm pretty well prepared. Playing with the guys, playing in the SEC, that's really the best of the best. And you go to the NFL, and you really everybody's good that you playing. You're not gonna have like every season you have like 2 games. You have those 2 games that prepare you. But in the NFL, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah. Now, during your playing career, you mentioned playing in the SEC as the top talent out there. Who were the toughest guys you had to go against that, on the defensive side, cornerback or a safety?
Day in and day out, I would say from my freshman year until last year, which Chris LeBons was probably the toughest guy, and just game-wise, DeAndre Baker was a pretty good cornerback.
Yeah, obviously so. Now, how frustrated are you that you couldn't bring home that championship for South Carolina?
Like I stated earlier, it really hasn't hit home yet, but I'm pretty sure within the next couple of days I'll be thinking about man, God, we didn't do what we planned to do when we got here.
Yeah. Well, now you also had some goals for 2018 that you'd posted on social media, and one of them, graduate college. So I think we're going to be able to put a check on that one.
Yes, sir.
Right? Stay healthy. So you finally stayed healthy, right, for the year, and so need to maintain that. But did you have, when you say stay healthy, I imagine through every season, regardless if it was a major injury, but how often are you just beat up after a game?
I mean, really every game, like Coach Brian McClendon say, after the first game you're gonna have bumps and bruises all over the place. You just gotta fight through it. But luckily I didn't have any major injuries this year and was able to fight through the bumps and bruises.
Yeah. And then another one, come closer to God. Have you been able to do that?
Yeah, Marcus Lattimore played a really good part in that with coming close to God, really going to chapel every time we have it and just having those talks with him about life and what God had planned for you.
And when did faith become important to you?
I mean, when I was in high school, we used to try to go to church every Sunday, but sometimes my mom and dad, they were like, I'm a little tired from work. So not every Sunday we went to church, but most of the time we was really trying to get there.
Yeah, and so was it through the help with Marcus Lattimore that you really started having this more of a connection with your faith?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then take care of my people. What does that mean?
Take care of my mom, my dad. Not too many people, like we said earlier, not too many people get the opportunity to say that you're going to enter the NFL draft and be able to do things that you dreamed of when you was a kid. So they took care of me while I couldn't do it. But now I think if they need anything and I have it, I'll be able to help them with anything they need help with.
Yeah, now you're in that position, obviously. And another one is enter the NFL draft. So here we are, right? This is that moment. And then the last one that you had on here was be successful. So how do you define successful?
Just being happy and being okay with where you are in life, and just knowing that you put everything, like day in and day out, you put everything that you had into that day, and you just know you have no regrets.
Yeah. Well, so how do you stay grounded like that and having that type of mentality? Because, I mean, you weren't able to accomplish the SEC championship that you wanted, and so there's obviously some things that you weren't able to do. But how do you maintain that mindset of being content?
Really, my mom and my dad, they humbled me since I was a young kid. Like my mom was like, "You did a pretty good job." I'd be like, "Mom, I did okay." She was like, "You can be happy for yourself sometime." I was just like, "Mom, that's just how I was raised."
Was that a struggle for you at times, as far as being able to, be aware that, hey, you did a really good job, and be happy with your success?
I would say that was pretty hard for me. Like the week in and week out, they say I have a pretty good game. Me knowing personally that I could have did, like, not say I could have did more, but I'm capable of more of what I did.
So do you feel that you regret some games that you didn't feel that you played as well as you could have?
Yeah, I would say the first 3 to 4 games at the beginning of the season, and looking at the last 4 games of the season, I would say like there's a big difference in how I was playing the game.
Yeah, and can you pinpoint any particular reason why?
I would say as the season go on, the game slow down for you, and you start seeing things before they happen, so you know what to expect. So when you get the ball, you just be like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then the plays just happen.
Well, I can tell you, against my Clemson Tigers, I saw plenty of times where, I see Deebo, he's wide open, he's gone. So you torched the Clemson Tigers in your final rivalry game. What is that rivalry game like?
It means a lot to me and also the team, especially guys from South Carolina. They really know what the rivalry really is, see who the best of the state is. But I would say it means a lot to me and also my teammates. We just went out there and tried to do the best we could to get the win.
I know. Well, again, you're having a lot of Clemson fans holding their breath every time the offense was out on the field, I can promise you. So what motivates you, though, in terms of, or what motivates you more? People doubting you and you wanting to prove them wrong, or is it you wanting to prove people right who believed in you?
I wanted to prove the people right that believed in me. Coming from where I come from, really a small Spartanburg, South Carolina, not too many guys that come from there really make it out. So I really wanted to be the example for the younger kids, and also like show them anything you put your mind to you can accomplish it. And really just want to be a motivation to the kids and show them that anything is possible.
Well, and speaking of motivation, and I'm big on words of wisdom that can motivate people, and that's either through phrases, quotes, or mottos, or just even life advice. So from your standpoint, do you have any words of wisdom that has meant a lot to you?
Never stop doing what you put your mind to. Anything is possible.
Okay. Yeah, that's very wise. How'd you come up with that?
I would say listen to my parents talk to me really day in and day out, and telling me certain things every day, and some things they should say that just stick to me.
Yeah, and so what about in terms of a message for Gamecock Nation? Now that your career is over, what would you like to say to all the Gamecock fans out there?
I would say thank you for the support, and thanks for always being behind me through the injuries. You guys still stayed the same, and I was happy I was able to give you what you wanted.
Well, Deebo, I can't thank you enough for giving me the opportunity to share a little bit more about your journey and how things are shaping up for you. I greatly appreciate the time, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the NFL. And one other question, though. When you score your first NFL touchdown, can I have you back on the podcast?
Yeah, I'll be back.
All right. Beautiful. Done deal. We got it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Deebo.